So this is inside the old church. And you can see the lovely writing that's on the headstones. "1698" is the date on that one. Now this is the final resting place here of Reverend Charles Wolfe. And he was a famous writer. And that picture frame you see there was a poem inside of that, and it has now gone off it. So hopefully they will replace that poem that was on it. And he was a famous writer. It's a beautiful old church inside the grounds here. You can see there's some on the ground as you walk in. Tabletop tomb. And then we have this one here with all the wrought iron railing all around it. And this one says, "Sacred to the memory of the Reverend T. Edmund Nash, rector of Macroom, for 16 years, curate of this parish. He died March 21st, 1853, aged 61 years old." And just on the other side of the monument there, it says, "In memory of Anna Maria, wife of Reverend Nash, died in 1871, aged 63 years old." It's a really nice monument there for the Nash family. Now this area here is closed off due to maybe fallen debris and stuff like that. You mightn't be safe. But you can see the plaques on the wall there, memorial plaques. So that's the inside of the old church. And now there's lots more to see in the graveyard here. And this one here says on the wall, "Here light the body of Anne, wife to John Boyd, who departed this life December the 6th, Anno Domini 1723, aged 44 years old." So as you know, we're in Cove. We arrived here yesterday and got some videos in, and the area is just absolutely stunning and rich in history, and we really enjoyed the area. Elizabeth Ann, Countess of Huntington, born in May 1817 and died in February 1857, aged 39 years old. So that's Elizabeth there, a countess. And that's Elizabeth's tomb there. You can see some of the fine detail on these tombs. Kind of looks like either a line, I think that looks like. And just this one here, this red brick monument, is the final resting place of Dr. Verling, who was a surgeon to Napoleon Bonaparte in St. Helena. And I'm hoping with the flashlight here I'll be able to read this for you. James Verling, medical doctor, FRCS, born 1787 and died at Bella Vista, Cork, 1858. And you can just see there, official surgeon to Napoleon on St. Helena, 1818 to 1819. So he was 1 year in St. Helena as official surgeon and doctor to Napoleon, the famous emperor. And it's the vault here of the family, and you can see just here where the entrance of the vault would have been. I'm going to see, can I read what's on the plaque at the entrance of the vault. Erected 1833, it says on the plaque there, on the vault. So if I can get my gimbal just inside here, we can read this also. This is on the other side here of the monument. The family sepulchre of Bartholomew Verling, Esquire, of Cove, and of his wife Ellen Clarissa, only daughter of the late Dominic Waters, Esquire of Cork, 1833. This is just another bit of history there, guys. You never know what you're going to come across in these old graveyards and the history that goes with it. Sculpture, or sorry, a surgeon and doctor of Napoleon, and he came from County Cork here. It's really amazing. Some fine monuments. There's another one there. So there you have it, guys. You've heard it here first on Grave Visitations. A little bit of history. So I've come across this headstone here. And there's a symbol on it there, and maybe with the torch I might be able to see. And it looks like an eye. An eye symbol that's on that. And then you have the mason, the symbol of the mason here. Now, and it says, here lies the body of William Knowles, sailmaker from Liverpool, who was drowned at Cove, (1818), 32 years old. Wow. So William Knowles who was a sail maker, so made sails for boats. And he was from Liverpool, and he drowned here in Cove in 1813, I think that is. So that's a fine headstone there. 1813. Young man drowned here in Cove, a sailmaker, and he was from Liverpool. More history. Just down here, if you notice, has a piece of it here that's able to be taken off, like a jigsaw, and can be just placed back in again. And now the reason for that, he was telling me, is this monument was shipped from America over here to Cork for this person's grave. And the reason the piece of stone was taken away, as I just showed you, is for tax purposes. He was telling me that when this monument was shipped from America to Ireland, in order to avoid paying taxes for the monument, the story goes, is that a piece of the stone was cut out of the monument. So, in other words, the monument being shipped to Ireland, there wouldn't be any taxes paid on it because it was damaged goods. So that's the story behind the monument, which I found very interesting. I've never heard of that before. And it says on it, pray for the soul of Gabriel Coyd Anek, born at Lussengrand, Austria, 19th March 1833, and he died at Queenstown, which was called Queenstown back in the day, it's now Cove, in 1885. And there's a lovely anchor on it there, and the Sacred Heart, I'd imagine, there as well. So that's the story behind that monument that the man was telling me about. Lovely urn. And one of the graves is just over here. And it's a beautiful headstone, and it's actually a new headstone. It's not the original headstone, but it's a new one. And I'm sorry about the shadow today, guys, with the sun, but it says here, in loving memory of Euphemia Burke, who died November 1905, aged 9 years old. Her mother, Agnes O'Neill, died in 1899, and also her father, John Patrick, died in 1910, rests in Wisham, Wales. And there's a lovely photograph here of little Euphemia Burke, who was only 9 years old. A porcelain picture here. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful little girl, and may she rest in peace. Erected by Margaret Brierley in loving memory of her husband Thomas, who died in July 1920, aged 59. Also Margaret our dearly loved mother, who died in 1927, aged 65. George died in 1948, aged 64 years old. But the picture on this grave is very, very much like Captain Smith, who was the captain of the Titanic. And you can just see on the photo there how he resembles the captain from the Titanic so much. Sacred to the memory of the officers and men of HM ship Mars, who lost their lives through a gun accident that occurred on board that ship on the 14th of April 1902, whilst at sea off the southwest coast of Ireland. And it says this monument was erected by the officers and men of HM ships Jupiter and Mars. And it's a lovely marble, I think it looks like anchor on it and chain wrapping around the anchor there as well. Memorial. And we have a wreath of flowers there in the shape of an anchor, and the red poppies then near that. And we'll just read the names of the people who are interred here. Alfred Shipton, able seaman, died in 1902, 14th of April. Steptus G. Barnett, able seaman, April 1902, age 24. Ellis G. Collins, able seaman, April 1902, age 26 years old. So all these men died the same date and the same year. Frank Barton, age 23 years old. Thomas Porter, able seaman, age 23. Edward J.C. Brown, leading seaman, age 23 years old. And just at the end of the plot, we have Edwin Sutton, Chief ERA, age 34 years old. Now at the back of the plot, there's a headstone there. I'll try and zoom in as far as I can and show you. And that's Lieutenant James H.S. Byrne. James H.S. Byrne, Lieutenant R.N. the Royal Navy, died the 14th of April 1902, aged 29 years old. So at the very back of the plot then as well, we have Samuel J. Thomas, able seaman, died the 18th of April 1902, aged 23. So Samuel must have died 4 days after the rest of these men died. So I'm presuming he died from maybe his injuries. So there's another wreath of flowers here as well, on this side. You can see the lovely blue roses on them. And I'm sure that's from the Royal Navy. Now there's another plot just behind the seaman here, able seaman's grave. And I'll try and read what it says on it. I hope the torch will work on this. HM Submarine A5, Here lie 5 of the 6 victims of the eternal explosions that occurred on board HMS A5 at Queenstown on the 16th of February 1905. The body of the 6th victim, Sub-Lieutenant Frederick Charles Skinner, aged 21, was returned to Bedford for burial. Plaque and stone donated by INS, erected by RNA, Cork and County Branch. So all these men died on board a submarine. Explosion happened on the submarine in Cove. And these are the graves of the men that died in the explosion on that submarine. Leading stoker Ernest Goldthorpe, aged 28 years old. First class William J. Pryor, aged 30 years old. Stoker Henry Davis, aged 24 years old, also the same year. First class Arthur Manley, aged 32 years old. And finally Charles Sinden, aged 33 years old. So that's another piece of history there in that plot. That submarine where all these men died, unfortunately very young. An explosion aboard the submarine A5. And I'll have to look that up. I'm sure that'll be very interesting to look into that. So guys, I think I will leave it at that. And I just want to say thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and maybe share the video. So from me, grave visitations here in Cove, County Cork, at this historical old graveyard. I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you all on the next one, guys.